Hi, my name's Tyler Ford in Tucson, Arizona with eXp Realty. My wife Mimi and I have been investing in long-term rental properties in Tucson for over 30 years. We've never done an Airbnb, but have always been intrigued with the short-term rental model and the income potential. I've represented real estate investors to help them find and buy properties for short-term rentals and have been blown away by the numbers they've shared with me, especially in the summer months that a short-term rental can be profitable in the heat of Tucson during the summer months. In February of 2022, we bought a property that we did a complete demo, remodel, and fully furnished it. We've now been a short-term rental since May of 2022. We have a 5-star rating on Airbnb and have earned Superhost on Airbnb. We are documenting the journey and doing a case study to compare a short-term rental versus a long-term rental and what it's like to host on Airbnb, plus share all the things we've learned along the way. Please subscribe to our channel to continue to follow our short-term rental Airbnb journey. Hello, Tyler Ford here, Tucson, Arizona with eXp Realty, and welcome to this episode of Living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection. And I've been doing a case study in regards to our Airbnb here in Tucson, Arizona, where each and every month I dive into the numbers and then also kind of go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and what we learned for this month. So it is October, but the numbers that I'm going to go over and share with you are for September 2022. So let's dive on into it. Before I dive on into the numbers, I'm going to share some of the things that we learned in the month of September. And if you go back and look at our previous videos where we share a lot of the things that we've learned along the way, and we just love sharing that with others, and we finally feel like we're starting to get a handle and a grip and get everything down in terms of the systems. And one of the biggest challenges that we've had, and again, if you go back and look at some of our previous videos, is the checkout time. And people weren't respecting the checkout time, and it was creating all sorts of problems. And the biggest problem, if you've got somebody checking out and checking in same day turnaround and they're not leaving on time, it was creating a big challenge for us because the cleaning service would show up and they wouldn't be out, and then we've got people coming in. So we did some things to make the checkout time much more visual. We've got a sign on the door where they see it. We send out through Airbnb, we've got a video that explains everything, and we go over in detail the checkout. So it's seemed to have solved the challenge, but now what we're having is people are acknowledging the checkout time, but they're asking for a checkout time that is later in the day. And if we've got somebody coming the same day, we're telling them no, just because we can't turn it over quick enough to get ready for the next guest. But the one thing that's happened is if we don't have somebody coming, we've had a couple people willing to pay for an extra day, even though they're checking out later in the day. So we've gained a little bit of income. We had 2 people in the month of September ask for a checkout time at 2 p.m. and we said no. And what they ended up doing was just booking another day, and then we contacted our cleaning service and we scheduled it for the next day. So we've been able to add a little bit of income just by the checkout time and people wanting a longer checkout time later in the day. So it's been a good thing, a little bit of revenue generated as a result of that. But again, the biggest challenge to this point is our checkout time and people respecting that. And we put a little sign up on the door. We've got our instructions in terms of our rules and what our expectations for our Airbnb. And again, the video that we send out to people goes over everything. So again, that's been our biggest challenge, and we finally got a grip on it. And we've been able to generate a little bit of extra income. Now let's dive on into the numbers. And again, if it was a long-term rental, we would be at about $1,800 to $2,000 a month. but we wouldn't have any utilities, any expenses other than the mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance, because the renter would be responsible for everything else. So I'm going to go over our numbers and just share with you what we did in the month of September. The month of September so far has been our slowest month, and it kind of makes sense. You know, back to school, summer vacations are over. September is just kind of a weird month. It's a transition month where people's patterns and things change, and there's not a lot of vacations going on. So in retrospect, you know, September, I wouldn't have thought that September would have been slower than June, July, and August in Tucson summer heat, but it was. So let's dive on into the numbers. For the month of September 2022, our rental income was $1,323.53. And then we had total rental expenses, and I'll go over in detail what those were, of $1,310.26 for a total net income of $13.31. So call it break even. But again, at least we weren't at a loss. We broke even. We were able to, you know, pay the mortgage, and then also we're on a 15-year fix. So each and every month that we make our mortgage payment, right now the principal reduction is right at about, I think, $600 a month. So equity-wise, we were able to build $600 in equity plus the net income. And then breaking down the expenses of $300 and $378.11, we had water of $62.85. We had electric, our electric bill, everything's electric in here, the AC, so we have no gas. So electric was only $82.82, and September was a pretty warm month, so that was good. Cox, cable, and internet, $205.97. We are paying a little bit more because I got the highest speed in here because we're running wireless to our TVs. So I needed a little bit higher speed connection so the TVs would work correctly, so we don't have a bunch of wires running around. And then our Vivint security, which does a lot of things. It does the security, it allows us to control the thermostat from our phone, and then we've got a camera out front. That was $26.47 for a total of $378.11. But the nice thing about the Vivint security, if it wasn't for the Vivint, we would not be able to control our electric bill. And again, $82.82 was our electric bill. But the nice thing about the Vivint is we've got a program where there's a min and max in terms of what they can set it to. So they're not going to freeze themselves out and also spend more money on electric than needs to be. And then it recognizes when they're gone. So then when they're gone during the hotter months, it increases the AC up to 78 degrees. So they're not keeping it at a low level, and again, costing us more money in electricity. So the Vivint security that we have, and I'll put a link below, is so worth it, and it's saving us quite a bit of money, in my opinion, in regards to our electric bill. And then lastly, I'm going to go over kind of a year to date from June until this recording right now. October 21st is when I printed everything out on QuickBooks. I'm going to go over just kind of a year to date. So our rental income from June until this recording has been $8,675.51. We had total rental property expenses of $6,367.81. for a total net income of $2,307.70. So profitable to this point. And again, my goal was to just break even through the summer months because I didn't think we'd have a whole lot of demand, but we did. So we are profitable through the summer months, and which is encouraging. Again, it's too soon to tell. We're only about 6 months into this, but now that we're approaching October and the cooler months here in Tucson, the numbers are going to get pretty exciting because we're pretty well booked. So January through April, we're almost 100% booked. Which is good. And then the other thing that we did, and if you go back again and look at our previous videos, and I wish I would have done this, so my advice here is do this early on, is we relied on Airbnb smart pricing right out of the gate. And although it's all right, it's not as robust as it can be based on using third-party platforms in order to help you price your property correctly. And so we switched over to Price Labs to help us price our rates on our Airbnb, and it basically treats it like a hotel. So it understands supply and demand, and you're able to maximize your profits just based on supply and demand of your property and other properties and the competition. And I feel as though that if we would have used Price Labs at the beginning, we would have made a lot more money, because a lot of our bookings in January, February, March, April were done prior to Price Labs. And Price Labs' pricing is out at like $230 to $240 a night, where what I was charging through the Airbnb smart pricing was only about $160 a night. So we left a lot of money on the table. That was another big learning curve and learning experience in terms of the pricing. The other nice thing is the month of September, I was able to go in and look at the analytics, and I was able to see that September was going to be a slow month. So I was aggressive and proactive in terms of reducing our price and being ahead of the competition. And if I look at the competition versus our property, we actually had a higher occupancy rate, and that had a lot to do with just being proactive in terms of reducing our minimum for the month of September. So if I leave you with anything, if you're new to Airbnb or maybe somebody that's got an Airbnb, check out Price Labs in terms of helping you pricing your property correctly, and you're going to be a whole lot more profitable. And I'm going to get this wrong, I think it's only like 19 bucks a month, 20 bucks a month. So it's so worth it. You're going to end up making a ton more money as a result of using their platform and helping you run your property more like the hotel business or even the airlines. I mean, they're really good at pricing based on supply and demand. So it helps you do that. And again, you're going to be that much more profitable if you use one of those third-party platforms that plugs into Airbnb and prices your home. Well, that wraps up our September 2022 Airbnb case study, short-term rental versus long-term rental. And if you got value out of this video, do me a huge favor, give me an internet high five by liking the video. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment below. Or if you're in Tucson looking for a property that you could Airbnb and do a short-term rental, myself or team would love to help. In the meantime, for more awesome videos about living in Tucson, your Tucson Real Estate Connection, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, make it a great day.